Now this is Time Out with Southern Technical College. We have the cut suit, and we're going to go over a little bit about interviewing the person that's in charge. She's a rep in charge of the whole kind of setup. We have some students that are going to come in and give their impression on the cut suit, and maybe some instructors, and show you a little bit about that cut suit. Here with Hannah, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the bodysuit that we have, and we showed the students a little bit about it today. But go ahead and introduce yourself, and maybe just a little bit about who you are and what your company's about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So my name is Hannah Lemke, and I am a territory sales manager for South Florida for a company called CAE. We have 3 divisions that we work in, and it's really for education and training. And our first one is civil, so we train over 80% of the world's pilots on flight simulators, and then we also have military to be able to train those folks as well. And then lastly, in this field that I'm in is healthcare. So we have a large portfolio of products to train all the way from surge techs to anesthesia, anesthesiologists, and nurses as well.
So it's called the bodysuit, right?
Or the cut suit.
The cut suit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To cut to the point.
Yes.
So the cut suit. So give me a little, we see it on the back. We really can't see it on our video, but the whole idea is for surgical tech students to what? To get used to real life situations.
Exactly.
So kind of describe what that cut suit is, maybe in more detail.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is, it's a wearable suit. So either a student or a standardized patient slash actor would actually put the suit on the body, and which is what gives it realism. You have a face and a person within this, and then they can actually perform surgical procedures, whether it's trauma or if they're just doing an exploratory surgery, while you're having a real person that's beneath the suit to be able to react from there.
Dr. T's here. Come on in. You asked some questions. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I mean, I thought that it was so interesting because it's so realistic. But he brought out a great point. Both of them did. Is you take soft skills and how people react to trauma, and the interesting part is, and nowadays, currently, we may have trauma in a classroom. So he's really trying to, by simulation, teach how people would react to trauma along with doing procedures. And that's a great thing to basically, as training with simulation, is how do people react by training and then learning the skills actually on things that are so realistic that it looks human, again, as far as what they've done.
Well, I agree. It's all about being realistic, right?
Exactly.
So Hannah, we're going to leave a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit more of an extensive video. We're going to interview some students about what they expected or experienced. Is anything you want to say about your product?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Brad. So with the cut suit, I guess kind of going into a little bit more detail of how it's working, it actually has the organs that you and I would have. So it's having your gallbladder, your liver, your kidneys, the heart, lungs, but it also has not only the healthy version, but some injured type of the version as well. And each of those body parts bleed just like you and I would. So you're wearing a blood pumping backpack to actually push blood through these. So when these cuts are made, you are truly having that real life experience of seeing the blood that would come out, and you can control the flow of it as well. So it really gives the students the not only that hard skills like Dr. T was saying, but also the soft skills to be able to deal with that and be able to talk to the patient if they are conscious from there.
Well, thank you very much, Hannah. We pray that we get this product.
Yes.
But thank you for taking your time to answer some questions.
Yes,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, Sherry. Sherry's one of the students that was there at the presentations of the cut suit. What was your experience with that?
Experience that we got to see today from CAE was they brought in the cadaver to kind of demonstrate how a body would bleed. And
let me ask you a question, Sherry. Do you think this could be implemented in the lab? Would it be a good experience to have a lot of these realistic things in the lab?
Yes, I think it would be very beneficial for the lab to have a cadaver like this for the students. I think that it would really promote growth and learning the anatomy and how circulation works in the body and understanding anatomy. It would make it a lot easier.
I agree with you. That was pretty cool. And would you like to see more of these kind of like demonstrations in the future?
Yeah, these demonstrations are very beneficial for all students and instructors, so that the instructors have knowledge on how to teach the students and the students learn as well.
All right, with another student, Reagan, probably one of the better students I have in Surgical 3.
Aw, thanks.
Taylor, just joking. What was your experience? We saw the cut suit. Tell me your impression on it.
I really liked it. I thought that this could be an asset to our school in general. I think that it's something that can be utilized as a tool here, not just in schools in general, but like out in real life, that it can show real life trauma and how injuries happen, and it can show like real blood loss and how the body reacts to things. And something that really stood out to me is that it's not just like a mannequin. It's a person wearing this device, and it's a person responding and moving and interacting with you. They're giving you that visceral feedback, you know, for their wounds, and you're cutting into a person. So you're going to have that kind of like, oh my gosh, moment of like, this is a human. I have to take care of them. That's going to give you that immediate like emergency response that you need, because there's this moment in the emergency situation where you're like, something kicks in with you, or you're like, this is a human. I have to take care of them. And if you're getting into the medical field, you have that need to take care of humans. That's why we're all here.
Right.
So take care of other people. And so when that person's wounded, you have this thing click in your brain where you're like, I need to take care of this person. And then when it's a mannequin, that doesn't click for you. You're just like, oh, it's a mannequin. You know, like you pass things off over their face, and you just nonchalantly, you hit their arms, or you just bump into them. But when it's a human wearing this device, there's this amount of care and empathy that goes into all of your actions. All of a sudden you touch them differently. You move differently. You want to save them.
I agree with you. That was said perfectly. I mean, we're going to look back here, Reagan. That was awesome. I'm going to pull some things up so we can see it.
Unfortunately.
Chrissy, come on, show me the cut suit. Bring it on up here. We're going to show you that cut suit. It's kind of heavy, but actually what Reagan says, she's backing up and she's kind of cringing out to the distance. This actually goes on a person. Holy mackerel, it is heavy.
Do you want me to demonstrate?
No, I don't think they want us to, but it really is a cut suit, and they cut into the actual body. It goes on a human being. It really is cool.
You getting smacked in the face?
We have Chrissy that is actually going to get into the body.
She's gonna demonstrate it here for us.
So Chrissy, come on up and tell us how it feels.
It's heavier than this.
Chrissy is wearing the cut suit. Get out of the picture, Brad.
Oh, watch your hair. I don't wanna.
Yeah.
That's it. This reminds me of
So in the back table you can't see, but it has a bunch of organs, and this cut suit, and she can kind of see a little bit on the camera. How does it feel? It's heavy?
It's actually, you know, once you get it on and you get all the strapping on, and if you
there's
if you
another one in the
tighten,
back,
if you tighten them all up, they're actually really not. I mean, it's heavy, but it's not like anything
So
abnormal.
stand up here and tell us the Abraham Lincoln speech. Go ahead. Fourscore. No, I'm just-
7 years ago.
So give me your impression. This is Chrissy. She's our instructor here. She's actually a really strong instructor that we just hired. Chrissy, give me your impression of this whole process that we saw. This is the cut suit, and she's wearing the cut suit. So go ahead and
Well,
tell us.
I will tell you, having this type of simulation would be amazing for the classroom. I was also a corpsman in the Navy, and to have this, to be able to simulate surgeries, battlefield wounds, all those different things are amazing. I mean, you have like real blood flowing through it. I mean, it shows wounds. You've got the different appendixes, where if this is
I'm gonna take it up to the
yeah, take that up. That's a rotten one, perforated one, and that's a normal one. I mean, to be able to see that visually is amazing for students.
normal looking appendix.
And to be able to practice real surgeries, that'd be amazing.
So that's awesome. This is a cut suit. Chrissy had, this is a product we had in. Dr. T did a video, so we're going to probably show you that video on the end of the podcast. But it is a good product for the students. It's something that, either way, it was a great experience. Dr. T, you want to come in and just kind of wrap it up here? Dr. T is the main guy that kind of got this whole thing in play here. We're going to do a lot of these podcasts, a lot of these things for the students. Yeah, we pray for this, and maybe in the future, you never know. Santa could be kind to us. You never know. What do you think, Dr. T?
I'm hoping so, but you can see at Southern Tech again in our program, the more visual, the more, again, animated, again, is really what's helping the students, again, learn. And the more that we do, again, on these workshops, hopefully you're using it as education, but hopefully we'd like you to join our program. I mean, we have a great program here, and we're doing a lot at the school, again, in the campus to teach the students, again, what they need to know as a surge tech.
As Chrissy's holding up, what is that, the omentum?
The omentum. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's even got all definition in there and everything.
It looks like,
Real omentum.
man, it does, but it looks like, I'm trying to think in a food relation. Is it like a roux and you make a roux?
Yes.
Butter. Who's hungry?
Butter and flour and
We have one more student here. Come on in here, Sherry. Not Sherry. No, you're not Sherry. Shauna. I'm sorry. We have one more student, Shauna Banana. No, just. So, what was your impression? She's going to give her impression. Obviously, go ahead there.
This suit is absolutely phenomenal. And I was also talking to Hannah earlier, and she said that they also have dissection pieces where just organs and stuff that we can use as demonstrations for dissections, which would be beneficial instead of constantly having to pay for the animal products that we bring in.
Oh.
And
you hear that, Dr. T? No more dissections anymore.
no, it is a dissection,
No,
but
no more buying animal parts.
I don't mind. I like all of it, but this would be a nice little, so that we can reuse it instead of, it's more cost efficient.
Let me ask you a question. Does it give you a better realistic kind of aspect to it in the sense
Definitely.
of, obviously in the lab it's very limited, but this is realistic, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And they said that this can be repaired and reused multiple times. I mean, we have our dummy in the OR room has been butchered, and you can see where everything's been cut and put back together, and it's foam. So this would be so much better.
Oh, I agree with you. Thanks, dear.
You're welcome.
This is just an up-close view of this cut suit. You can see here the cut suit's pretty cool there. It has access to these organs on this side. We have the heart, the liver, they got some kind of trauma, maybe a shotgun wound, and even on the kidneys, they're going to have a little bit of some trauma wounds. So this is a good example of this company here, which is CAE, which is that company that deals with a lot of training you on realistic kind of materials. They actually pump blood through this product here, kind of based out of trauma, military kind of aspect. Really cool product. Give you kind of a view of this. Now, this is the cut suit itself. This actually goes on top or on a real human itself. They lay on the table. It gives them a realistic approach because it's a real human being. This is that membrane, maybe like the peritoneum, that organs. This is kind of like little bladders, which are blood bladders. So when they actually cut into the actual cut suit itself, it's going to bleed. It's going to be really realistic. Cool product out of CAE. All right. Thanks. So that's the podcast on the cut suit. Dr. T, is there any other thing that we want in the future? We might have some other things that are very similar to this in our podcast, but stay tuned to the trailer, and maybe we'll give you a little introduction to what we're going to have next on our podcast. Dr. T did a video. Hopefully I can get that video on the end of this podcast. We can show you the whole kind of presentation and what they did about the cut suit. But this is kind of just a small snippet of what we did. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.